thumbs up. Make sure you can see my screen. Perfect. Right, let's get going. So, right, everyone, welcome to our weekly community call. We're lucky this evening that this meeting is going to be shared with all the guys and girls that are on the 14-day kickstart as well. A couple of them have joined us this evening. And really this call, just for their purpose, these calls are about us connecting, about us doing a little bit of learning and celebrating the wins that everyone's had over the last 7 days. So one of the things that we're a big believer on the program is that we're not just individuals sort of trying to do our own little battles. You know, we're trying to work together and inspire each other. And actually, the guys on the 14-day kickstart have been unbelievable at this. I was a little bit nervous. There was 28 people in this group, and I was a bit nervous about opening it up. But actually, on the first day and every day since, it's just been like pinging all day long. People sending pictures of their like food, their lunches, what their goals are, and everything else. So it's been really, really nice. It was one of those ones on the first day where I was like, oh god, I wonder if anyone's going to reply. And actually, it was pinging all day. So it was a nice feeling. But really, the engagement is one of the most important things that we hope for. And that's the same tonight. Again, it's a safe space for us all to sort of share and reflect. And if you've got any questions, just save them for the end. Or if it's a bit more of a private thing, like, you know, by all means, I'll stay on the chat at the end and you can ask me those questions. So let's look at some of the wins across the week. Just because it's a bit more of an open forum, I'm not going to share anyone's names as I normally do. So no one's getting any shout outs this week, as to say. But what I will say, yeah, teacher's pet. So what I will say is that I do look forward to Thursday mornings. I must admit, because Thursday mornings is the morning where everyone submits all of their body stats, so their body weight, their photos, their waist measurements, and everything else, as well as doing their reflections. Wink, wink to a few of you. But for a vast majority of you, the weight has continued to drop off. Some of you have actually dropped over 5 kg in 3 weeks, which is like unbelievable. It's absolutely amazing. And I think there's probably 2 or 3 of you that have managed to do that, which is absolutely amazing. But we also need to remember that we are in this honeymoon period, and I've explained this to you guys before. We are in this honeymoon period, and after this honeymoon period always we go into a plateau. Okay, and this is our body's response to our weight loss, and some of you have started to get to that stage now, and I have to keep stressing that you don't need to do anything more, you don't need to eat any less, you don't need to work out anymore. We just need to maintain some consistency. So if you feel like you've hit a little bit of a plateau, or your weight loss has slowed down, do not change anything. This is part of the process. You have to trust the process. Don't stop eating, don't start working out anymore. Just do the same. Keep doing the same things that you've done from day one, and we will fight that plateau, and that plateau will give way. Your body will relax and it will respond. That said, if you think you've hit a plateau, or you've made a little bit of weight change, we also know that weight is the most inconsistent thing that we can possibly measure, right? We know that we could have the best week in the world, and we get on the scales, buzzing to get on the scales, and our weight's gone up. We could also have like the shittest week ever, eating rubbish food, get on the scales, and we've dropped a kilo, right? This is the problem with using weight as our main indicator. It is so inconsistent, and every single week it's going to go up, it's going to go down, right? We have to be careful, and that's the reason why we try to collect all these different data points. So we want to look at waist measurements, we want to take photos, we want to do our weight, whatever we can, as well as doing the reflection. So how are we feeling? Are we feeling energized? Are we feeling flat, etc., etc.? So we need to build up this big picture and not just rely on our weight. So for the guys that are just measuring themselves every week, let's try and make sure it will make sure that we're doing the reflections as well. So I didn't quite catch the message. I'll get to it in a second. So we just need to make sure that we're being consistent with our tracking. Okay, some of us, we're only 3 weeks in now, and some of us are starting to get a little bit slack with our tracking. we might be missing meals on MyFitnessPal, we might be missing workouts on Trainer Eyes, but we need to make sure we're building up this nice big picture so that when we have these inconsistencies in our weight, or we're not feeling quite right, or we're not feeling energized, we've got some data to prove why we're feeling that. So we need to make sure we're really consistent with our tracking. And that's for the guys on the 14-day kickoff as well. You guys are tracking your stuff through MyFitnessPal and through your Google Sheets. Obviously, you guys on the program are doing it through Trainer Eyes, but we need to make sure we've got consistency with that. So guys in the program, there's actually 5 of you last week that managed to do 5 workouts or more in the last 7 days, which is incredible. So 5 of you on the program managed to do 5 or more workouts in 7 days, which is amazing. But we have to remember during this initial phase that we are focusing on our fuel. That is the most important thing, that we're focusing on our fuel. And if we're just topping it up with extra daily movement, with resistance or whatever else, it's all a bonus. We are focusing on our fuel, and anything we do on top of that is just a bonus. Okay, so just keep working hard, remain consistent, and I absolutely promise you that the results will fall into place after that. Let's just have a look at this. Was there a question? Might be worth sharing that you can click the measurements and see WWO. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so in Trainer Eyes, you can see your week on week. You can see your week on week progress, and that's for, I think, for all measurements, whether it be waist, arms, weight, anything, you can see your week on week. Yeah, Trainer Eyes is one of those apps. Actually, just the more you play with it, the more you find out. I'm still finding out things now. It's so in depth. It's amazing. But just make sure, you're looking your week on week. So that's it for sort of the winners of the week. So this is gonna be our little bit of learning. This should only take 5 or 10 minutes. I want to make it as quick as possible. So really, this is all about energy expenditure. So it's all about the calories that we burn. So what the thing is, the thing that I want to point out tonight is that roughly about 10% of the energy that we burn through exercise, through extra exercise, equates for about 10% of our daily output. So training on its own is actually a really small part of all the calories that we burn within a day. And really, it's because of this that I can work out and confidently give you a calorie target, because actually the workouts that you're doing on top of it is actually all extra. Like, so much of it's stuff that we can calculate and we can prejudge. And it's the reason why 99% of you, or 90% of you, are sticking to that, and that you're losing weight week on week. So every single person in that New Year program has lost weight, and absolutely no one in that program has not lost weight. And it's because that we can scientifically say that if you hit so many calories, you will lose weight. So to help you sort of visualize that, I want you to think about a block of flats. So like a tower block of flats, and this block of flats is 10 sort of stories high. Now, dependent on your weight, your height, your age, your job, how much you move in a day, this tower will be slightly different. But everyone's tower is 10 stories high. How big your tower is dependent on the size of you. So the first thing that we've got on our tower is that we've got our basal metabolic rate. So this makes up for. I'm just letting someone else in. Okay, so our first 7 floors of our 10 story building is our basal metabolic rate. Now, this is the energy that our body burns doing absolutely nothing. And I'll show you a visual in a minute, because this is consistent. Okay, this is consistent every single day. So if you did not do anything but stay in bed or sit on a sofa, you will burn this many calories every single day. All right, it helps the function of us, our brain. It helps our heart to keep pumping, and it helps our lungs breathing. But this is us at absolute rest. We do not need to do anything. So 70%, this is all on average, 70% of the calories that we burn within one day come from just staying alive, and nothing else. Like, say, our brain, our lungs, and our digestion as well. And this is quite empowering, really, because we always are quite hard on ourselves if we miss our gym sessions or if we're not doing that bit extra. But actually, we need to remember that so much of our daily expenditure in terms of our calories, our energy, comes from just keeping our body alive. So the next thing is commonly known as NEAT, and this is what we call non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, what this means is this accounts for the calories burnt every day from movements such as just walking, going up the stairs, tidying the house, going to the supermarket, etc., etc. So this actually equates for probably about 15% on average of our daily expenditure. So we're actually now up to about 80 to sort of 85% of our whole sort of energy output just from being alive and just from moving. Okay, and this is why daily steps are so important. So one of the first things I said to the guys in the 14-day challenge was get your 10,000 steps in, and it's exactly this reason. There's been a couple of guys on the program that have hardly done any extra working out. They've eaten clean and they've done their daily steps and they've shed loads of weight. And this is for this reason. So really what we want to try and do is increase our NEAT. And it actually went viral on social media not long ago, and everyone was like hashtagging NEAT, and everyone was like sharing all the things that they were doing to keep their NEAT up. And it's little things like taking the stairs or walking to work, or I don't know, just doing things active instead of getting in the car. All right, anything that you can do extra is known as our NEAT. Now, the next little bit of our floor, again, about one floor, just a little bit less, is the thermic effect of food. Now, one thing I've hammered home to all of you on both programs is that we eat protein because we burn it off whilst we digest it. It's one of the 3 reasons that we eat protein. We eat protein because it keeps us full. We eat protein because it repairs our muscles. We eat protein because we burn it off as we digest it. So this next sort of tower, the next floor in our tower block is about roughly 10%, just under. And this is the energy that we burn by digesting our food. So if we are increasing the amount of protein we eat, protein's incredibly difficult for the body to break down. Carbs and fats are really easy. Protein's difficult. So our body's having to work incredibly hard to break down the proteins that we're consuming. So this is why we want lots of daily steps. This is why we want lots of protein in our diet, because we are increasing the calories that we're burning whilst we're doing these things. And then obviously last but not least is our exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is the stuff that we do extra. This is going to the gym, going out for a run. This is all on average. Okay, so roughly speaking, you'd probably burn 300 calories, maybe just a bit less if you just went and lifted weights. Obviously, if you go out for a run, you're going to burn a bit more, but this is just on average. And also, you've got to think this is across 7 days as well. So if you go out for 3 runs, you need to average that out across your 7 days as well. All right, and this, people often say, don't they? Oh, I've been for a run, I deserve a dessert, or I deserve a pint, or whatever. But actually, when you look at it in this way, it's actually a really, really small part of the bigger picture here. So I'm just going to show you a little graphic now. So if you can see this, so this is my past 7 days. So on the Garmin, you can it's actually loads better to see. So you can see in the blue, this is my resting calories. So this is my BMR. So I've tried to match it up with the tower block here. So the blue stuff is my resting. So you can see that every single day, if I did absolutely nothing, this is just based on my weight, my height, my age. If I did absolutely nothing, I would burn 2,200 calories, and that's the same every single day. And then obviously the stuff in red is everything that I do on top. So that's a combination of my NEAT, my thermic effect of my food, and all the extra sort of exercise that I do. And then you can see obviously they are then different every single day, depending on how much I walk, how much protein I consume, how much I go to the gym, etc., etc. So I know that there was some misunderstandings over the last couple of weeks about this. Hopefully that's given a little bit of clarity to everyone. So you can see there 2,200 is the same every day, and then that little bit on top. So my average is 3,000. So I know that I need to be eating about 2,500 calories every single day. That would put me in a 500 calorie deficit. All right. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of clarity around sort of the resting and active calories. So I promised that I'd keep this meeting nice and short and short and sweet. I know the last few ones have been a little bit longer. If you've got any sort of generic questions, you can fire them into the group now.